Get ready for an insane Rescue-ACE deck profile. In this video, I want to show you the ratios and a little bit of an in-depth guide onto how to play the deck. We're going to be talking about small world, sword bridges, and of course, make sure to catch my Rescue-ACE playlist for my dual commentary and previous combos for the deck so you know how to play it. Let's get into it. Let's start with the monster lineup, and of course, we're playing 3 of the Rescue-ACE Hydrant. Can search any Rescue-ACE monster, and if you have another Rescue-ACE monster on the field, it can't be targeted for attacks or card effect. If you have Hydrant on the field, all your spell and traps have extra effects, so he's really important to have in the field, and you want to make sure he's always there, even as a equip card, which of course cards like Regulus can do. And why we are also running 3 of the Gizmek Naga Naki, so this card is really cool. This card has a really classic Yu-Gi-Oh effect. It can tribute a machine with the same attack and defense and bring one out from the deck with less attack. The only target is Hydrant, but that's all we care about. So basically what happens is we have 6 Hydrants now. It also has great synergy with Small World, turning Small World into basically a +1 now, which is one of the coolest things ever. Next up is Rescue-ACE Turbulence. We're running this at 2 because you do want to actually see this card. Ideally you want to summon this and have its effect not get negated, but when it does, you can still hit people with that 3k attack. Seeing it at 2 is obviously great. Again, we have cards like Diablosis running around in the meta. You want to make sure that this card does not get banished face down, and as a 2 of, you're more likely to find in your hand already. So Hydrant can search your extenders, which is actually what you really want. When a Rescue-ACE monster is summoned, it can special itself straight from the hand, acts like a classic Exceed extender, but its effect is really cool as well, because when your opponent will summon a monster, you can summon a Rescue-ACE monster from your deck. Potential rank 7 synergy here, which is obviously really exciting as well. You could even go a Kashtira route because of this card. This and Impulse are your 2 favorite cards you want to see against opponents, so you can really link climb with this type of card. I'm only running 1 Rescue-ACE Fire Attacker. It has the exact same summoning condition as the Fire Engine. Its effect, which is a great strategy. The issue with the Rescue-ACE can be that sometimes you brick because you have too many cards in your hand that can't summon themselves. If you've seen the gameplay, if you've seen the dual commentary, definitely make sure to check that video. You can see this card put in work even as a one-off, because again, the whole deck is searchable. 3 of the Airlifter. This card is your spell searcher, and in the basic combo for Rescue-ACE, all the warrior monsters in Rescue-ACE have an effect where if your opponent actually has a monster effect on the field, they contribute themselves as cost, I believe, and then summon a Rescue-ACE monster from the hand, deck, or graveyard. This one summons from the hand, which is not that great, but you still run it at 3 of, because of course the only card that searches the Rescue-ACE field spell. This is the best one, because when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, you contribute it from the hand or field, special Rescue-ACE from the deck. So if you're reading your opponent's gonna summon something, maybe they're doing a Theosis, you can actually do the Fire Engine and get more summons off of that. So you're now building a board on the opponent's turn, and I've had cases where it's my opponent's turn and I've genuinely summoned like 3 to 4 monsters. What Impulse's main effect can do as a slow effect on your turn is the monster with the highest stack on the field has its effects negated. If you're going second, that's most likely the negation or boss monster, so you can actually force the negation out of it, and then when it does try to negate, you tag it out for a Rescue-ACE. And while you have to run this card at 3, I was not running this card for the longest time, and you contribute yourself from hand or field when an opponent actually has a monster effect to summon a Rescue-ACE from the graveyard, which will come up despite Turbulence banishing 2 to summon itself. If you're going to cut a Rescue-ACE card, this is the first one to go. I'm going to call this card Rescue-ACE True King at Nimazad. You can banish a monster from your opponent's field or graveyard that doesn't target, and of course, because it doesn't target, there's a lot of cards in the game you can now out, including Red Eyes Dragoon. Maybe you don't see a level 4 or low Rescue-ACE, you can actually use this card's effect, destroy 2 fire monsters or a fire and a non-fire. With your monster in the graveyard, your Turbulence is potentially live and your spells are live, so obviously you really get synergy there, and it's a level 9. Fender is obviously great. It's an all-in-one staple power card, going second card, board breaker, forces negation, forces answers. Of course, you can search yourself as well, so you get better top decks, and then when it attacks or when your opponent activates a monster effect, target face up card they control and banish it face down. So if you don't have Fenris, you could substitute this for more Rescue-ACE card, and of course a level 7 you could do Kashtira plays with this and the Fire Engine. That may be a version I build in the future. Of course, let me know in the comments if you want to see that. Rescue-ACE Kashtira might be a thing. And then lastly, we're running the one Regulus, a solid negation card when you have Hydrant equipped. Because Hydrant is on the field, because his name is on the field, spells and traps will have their secondary effect, and you do such it with Small World. So let's get into the spells and traps, and I've talked a bit more about those. Moving on to the spells and traps, we have Rescue-ACE HQ. Gives you 8 extra normal summon for a Rescue-ACE. It can shuffle up to 4 Rescue-ACE cards from your grave or banish into the deck and then draw 1 card. And when you have that Airlifter combo, I'd highly recommend searching this card. The synergy with shuffling banish cards is obviously really great with Turbulence, and most importantly, resetting your spells and traps into the deck so your Turbulence can keep setting them. We have 2 of the Rescue-ACE alert. This is your searcher of the deck. Of course, every meta deck has a great searching ability. This deck has one, but again, it's tied to Hydrant, which I wish wasn't there, but it is. Hydrant and Turbulence are your 2 main monsters, and then third in priority would probably be the Fire Engine. So just keep that in mind as your potential searches. What I've noticed about the deck as I playtest this more and more, these spells are really good at filling your graveyard up. So the Turbulence can summon itself by banishing 2 of them from the grave. This card is really impressive as well. It's a monster reborn. If you control Hydrant, you can still cast from your opponent's graveyard. We're running Extinguish at 1. This card is the popper. Of course, Kashtira's are slow effects to search on that summon window. And if Hydra is on the field, because you pop that monster, you can't activate its effects for the rest of the turn. What I would have liked this card to say is it can't also summon that monster. Next up is the Contain. This one is actually really powerful. As a standalone, if you control a Rescue-ACE, which all of them need you to do, the trap cards, you can target effect monster on the field and negate its effects. But if Hydra is on the field, that monster can be used as material for anything, or can of course bridge you into anything in the deck. The machines are created in such a way that the stat lines, the level, the attribute, all of the warriors can go into all of the machines, and vice versa. And then the end bridge is usually like a Regulus or a Fenrir, and I could see Small World being a mainstay in the deck because of that reason. And a quick bridge for you guys is you could do the Gizmek monster into the Rescue-ACE Fire Engine into Regulus. Let's say Gizmek happens to be in the graveyard at any point, you can banish yourself and then add the face that banished Fire Engine to the hand, and that goes the same for any of the machines because of course they're all the same attack and defense. Coming up next, we got 1-for-1. This is the 7th copy of the Rescue-ACE Hydra. Reinforced for the army, there are a lot of warriors in the deck, and sometimes when you end your combo on your first turn, it's good to have an impulse in the hand as well for follow-up. And then we are running the 3 Pot of Prosperity for the final consistency cards. Could obviously run a card like Pot of Extravagance instead, so long as you have Link 2 so you can get Rescue-ACEs in the graveyard. But I like Prosperity personally, and I think every control deck should play this card. But that said, you know, it does clash with the field spell. This card also clashes with Fire Attacker, so you know, just a few more reasons why you might want to play Extravagance instead of this. Okay, that's been the spell and trap lineup. Let's go into the extra deck now. So the extra deck is going to be really interesting. We have cards that basically let us cheat out Rescue-ACE monsters in the graveyard. Linkribo, I relinquish Anima because Hydra is a level 1. You can actually turn into these cards quite easily, and of course steal monsters with Anima. Dagger for hire, it's a generic good stuff Link 2 you could say, and of course Dagger is really great at outing Baguska. Next up is IP Masquerena, which I'm tempted to run at 2 now. I think Chimera is probably better because it is the OTK enabler, giving all fire monsters foundry attack. Yeah, definitely make this card a Chimera in the future. I just don't have access to one at the moment. Next up is Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Unicorn. Again, Link 2, Link 3, good stuff. Definitely make sure to check out my combo video where I actually go into an Appaloosa with a set 4 with the Turbulence, rounding that off with Underworld. In any Link deck, in my personal opinion, I think Underworld is the best option you can have. But you spam so many monsters on the board so easily, I think going into Underworld is so great because you can get rid of pesky monsters, maybe a Bengal answer in the EM zone. Because we have a few level 4s in the deck, we can run cards like Exoton Knight and the Baguska, but we do run Exoton Knight for the control matchup. The Baguska of course is really good into decks like Kashtira, and then to round it off we're running 1 Zeus and 1 Arise Heart because we run Fenrir in the Kashtira matchup. If they activate Shangri-La's effect, we can summon our Arise Heart on top of the Fenrir, try and attack into an Exceeding monster, go into Zeus and wipe the board. So if you're building the deck, if you're interested in playing it, I think this is the way to go, but expect some future versions coming out soon where we get a little bit more creative with the deck. I think I want to mess around with that Kashtira version in the future. I think that'll be quite fun. And there we go guys, that's been the deck profile. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to drop a like. Are you playing Rescue-ACE right now? How's it going? With that being said guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.